Hello and welcome to your build-up show for West Ham United against Brighton and Hove Albion. Our first game of 2019, myself and Gonzo will take you through the teams in just a second. Now, what we've been told is a team. It'll officially be out in 10 minutes, but what we've been told is that Fabianski's in goal, a back four, Creswell, Ogbonna and Diop keep the places. However, Pablo Zabaleta comes back in at right back after recovering from the flu. Flat four across the midfield, as we have been playing recently. Rice is joined by Pedro Obiang in midfield, as Mark Noble is once again dropped by Pellegrini after poor display against Burnley. Snodgrass and Anderson take the wide positions, and the third and final change to the 11 comes up front as Marko Natovic partners Andy Carroll in attack. Now, that's the unconfirmed 11, so we're not going to discuss that because it might not be true. What we're going to do, first of all, we're going to take a quick glance at the other Premier League fixtures that's happening tonight and give our quick predictions of what we'll think will happen. And then when the official 11 comes out, we'll discuss that, and also our new signing that should be on the bench tonight as well for West Ham United. Gonzo, welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. Excuse me. I'm just trying to turn my phone off and turn all these gadgets off at the moment, so we're not rudely interrupted. And Happy New Year to everybody that's watching.
Well, let's talk about some of the Premier League fixtures elsewhere before our own one, Gonzo. Bournemouth take on Watford, first of all. The one game the bookies cannot separate, in all honesty.
Yeah, you can understand why, really, can't you? They're two teams that are solid, I would say. You know, no worries about relegation for either of those teams. Probably not quite enough to push for the top 7 places, if there is indeed such a thing. So I don't blame them for not being able to separate them. I mean, Brooks has started to come back. He started the season very, very well, didn't he? Started to come back into form. But, of course, we've got Delafeo in particular at Watford, who's playing really well as well. And Watford have done so well that the manager's getting a new contract, which is really something to do consecutive years at Watford. So, yeah, I don't blame them not being able to split them. I ain't got a clue either.
Well, I'm going to have to ask you to try and split them or go down the middle. Can you give me your prediction, home, away, or a draw?
Sorry, who's at home? Bournemouth?
Bournemouth at home, yeah.
But you know what? I might go... No, I'm not going to go for a Bournemouth win. I just can't see it. Actually, I think Watford are going to nick the points.
See, if it was at Vicarage Road, I'd be saying Watford, but because it's not, it makes me sort of edge with the bookies here. I'm going to go for a draw. I think there's going to be goals in this fixture. There's one fixture I'd be tuning in tonight if West Ham wasn't on. It would probably be that one, actually. I expect some entertainment. Stamford Bridge, Chelsea take on Southampton. Southampton obviously played well when Hassan Hüttl first came in, but if they got beat by us, then they just got beaten by Manchester City. Chelsea, I watched them against Crystal Palace, and what a boring game that was. And it was almost like they had to grind the 1-0 victory out a little bit, and they just seem a little bit toothless. Their fans are very unhappy seeing Marcus Alonso at left back every week, and they don't like seeing Willian in the team. Hazard's been playing as a false 9 against Palace. He was out back in his left wing position. Giroud come in, didn't really do anything. All is not well. However, they've just made the first signing of the January transfer window. He's not coming until the summer, but what a signing that's going to be, Gonzo.
Brilliant player. Brilliant player. Did you see him when England played the USA? Was absolutely electric, wasn't he? Really good. He's been the future for quite some time now, actually. But I guess with Jadon Sancho being there, they got some quality. They got Royce one side, haven't they? They got Sancho the other. So they probably feel that they can let a wide player go. And they make some money. They make some profit. They don't muck around at Dortmund. They buy these players young. They buy them good and they sell them on. And I think Chelsea got a good player. I was just reading through social media, actually, about him. And there's people aren't that keen, but I think they've got a really, really good signing there. And it seems a lot of money, but I'll tell you what, if he works out, he's going to be worth over 100 million. So I don't blame them for doing that. In terms of the game tonight, I think Southampton have had the lift from the new manager coming in. I think they can't afford another defeat, but I do think they'll get one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a draw, actually. I think there's going to be a surprise result at the Bridge. John Moss is referee there, so I think there's going to be a pen or a red card or some sort of incident happening. The later game, the one that kicks off at 8 p.m. live on Sky Sports, is Newcastle take on a resurgent Manchester United. Or is this a bit of a false, if you like? Everybody's going on about Solskjaer and how well they're playing, but they played Cardiff, Huddersfield, and then a very poor performing Bournemouth. Yeah,
the fixtures have fallen well for them. We'd like to see them when they play a top team. Obviously, Newcastle aren't a top team, but Rafa Benitez probably got something up his sleeve for this one. He always fancy him to do so. That being said, Pogba's decided to find his football boots and put them on and start playing now, isn't he? Because he likes the manager this time. So when he's up for it, he's a world-class player, clearly, as we all saw you know, internationally, and obviously went at Juventus as well. So I also like the way he's got Rashford playing as well. He's got a tune out of Lingard, Martial. They've got some good players, some really good players. Far too much firepower, in fact, for Newcastle. Of course, Lukaku started scoring as well. The only doubt really is their defensive line, but can Newcastle really test them? I think didn't Bailey get a red card? Possibly he misses this one. I think, I know everyone moans about what defenders. I think he's their best defender. I think so. Anyway, their most naturally gifted defender, certainly. He's out. Was it Smalling, Jones, something like that at the back? I don't know, but I still wonder if they've got enough to trouble him, particularly if he's got Matic sitting in front. So I'll still go for a Man U win.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Man U win as well. I think Rondon could get on the score sheet, though. He's still in form. He's still maintaining it. He's scored at the weekend. Was it the weekend? I don't even know. The last round of fixtures, whatever day of the week it was, he scored, and he was unlucky to not get another one as well. So I think he might score, but I do think Man U will have enough. Like you said, he's getting a tune out. They will come up against harder fixtures, but what Solskjaer is doing is key. He's getting the momentum going, the confidence is coming up. So when they do come up against the harder fixtures, he's already sort of repaired what Mourinho had broken in the first place, and he's good to go up against these big sides. Over at the Molineux, Wolves take on Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves just look so good, don't they? Jimenez up front, Jota. I don't know if Jota's back, actually, not so sure. Gibbs White has forced his way into the team. The winger, it escapes me. It begins with C. Winger's name escapes me. But I like Bolly. I like Willy Bolly. Willy Bolly. There's no easy way to say that, is there, without sounding a bit rude. But I like Willy Bolly. He's a very, very good player. I think he scored in their last game as well. Crystal Palace are pleased. They had Connor Wickham on the bench for the last one. And while everyone may laugh and, say Connor Wickham, they've been crying out for a focal point. And he might not be the best player in the world, but they need a striker there. So Zaha has got someone to play off. He might start him. He might not. Wolves are at home. Is that right? Did you say correct, Wolves are at home? I've got a fancy a Wolves win, but don't be surprised if Roy Hodgson goes there and sorts out a nasty, niggly draw, 0-0 draw.
Yeah, Wolves obviously got that big win against Spurs at Wembley, didn't they? And I do think, though, like we've seen Spurs come back from that Cardiff last night, whipping Cardiff 3-0 in the first half. I think the Wolves were just fortunate to catch Spurs at a time where they were just knackered, and you could tell in that last 10 minutes they just had nothing left in the tank. And I think Wolves' second goal was a little bit fortunate. I feel like Jimenez's goal wasn't a great finish. It just sort of trickled into the bottom corner somehow. I think this will be a low-scoring game. I think Wolves will edge it, but I don't think there's going to be much goals in this one. In the last fixture that we're to discuss before we talk about West Ham Brighton, the lineups will be out in about 3-4 minutes, is Huddersfield at home to Burnley. 6-pointer written all over this one.
I would have, I don't know, I'm not sure, had we not just have played Burnley. I'm not sure if I'd have known how to call this, but I am going to call it for Burnley on this one, purely and simply because we've just played them. And they seem to have got their mojo back, that early season mojo that they'd lost, perhaps because they're in Europe. Watched them against Everton. They didn't play like a Sean Dyche team at all. And he's got them battling, as we know, as certainly as Michail Antonio's ankles will testify. He's got them playing, he's got them battling, and he's got them fighting. So I'm going to go for the Burnley win here, mate.
Yeah, I think they're the best value of the night, actually, if you're into your betting. I think that's where the value lies in Burnley. Huddersfield, just you almost have to oppose them every week now because they're so poor, unfortunately. They've still got, this is match week 21, they still have a striker that scored a goal. You cannot expect to go half the season in Premier League without a striker scoring a goal and expect to stay up. It's physically not possible. I don't think it's probably not been done in the history of the Premier League. They don't even have, the worst thing is they're not even playing an attacking midfielder up front like we have been, like Everton have been with Charlton, Palestine, Zaha. They're not even doing that. They're actually playing a striker. They're just not scoring. And that's what's the worst thing. I think if ever there's a Premier League team that need to really spend big on one striker in the January transfer window, it's Huddersfield. But do they have the money? And also the problem is now, will the players do what we're doing and look at them and think, they're gone, there's no way I'm joining that lot because I'm going to be in the Championship 6 months from now. I actually think if Andy Carroll was to leave West Ham, I actually think that's the ideal club for him to go in this window. A manager that likes a physical striker, doesn't mind getting the ball into the box, he will play. Whenever he's fit, he will play. I just think if there was an ideal loan situation for Andy Carroll from this transfer window, Huddersfield Town is his answer. And he's got a very good manager there. And I actually think Wagner, I wouldn't say that you can't teach an old dog tricks, but Wagner might be able to educate Andy Carroll a little bit, maybe with his lifestyle away from the pitch, if anything, just to say, look, you need to get yourself in shape, you need to watch yourself, etc. And this is how you do it. Anyway, Gonzo, the team lineups will be out in just a second, but how are you feeling tonight ahead of tonight's game before? You've heard the unofficial lineup, but they're not usually wrong, are they?
No, I'll wait to comment on the lineup itself, but how am I feeling? It's a little bit subdued. I caught myself. I was really looking forward to the Burnley game. Looking forward to all day. West Ham playing. And I've not allowed myself to do that today. Well, as you know, I got called out to work anyway, which I was expecting, which literally puts a spanner in the works. It actually did happen. So I don't quite got to build up. I haven't quite got the feel for it. And I think I'm a bit once bitten, twice shy because I allow myself to get excited. I'm being a little bit more reserved now. I'm thinking, hold on a second. Calm yourself down. You know, we could well get beaten by Brighton here. So I think that buoyant bounce that I had after the Southampton game has left me, mate. I'm not being depressed about it, but I can't say I'm mega excited, put it that way.
Well, the lineup is out. The West Ham lineup, I'll just rattle through the 11. If you started the show earlier with us from the start, you'll know what the 11 is. Fabianski's in goal. Zabaleta with the captain's armband right back with Agbona and Diop in the middle and Creswell left back. Obviously, with Zabaleta having the captain's armband means Mark Noble has been dropped to the bench. And in comes Pedro Obiang, partner Declan Rice in the middle with Snodgrass and Anderson either side. Up front, we've got Marko Nautovic and Andy Carroll. Gonzo, what's your first reactions to the official lineup?
Not surprised there's changes. Welcome back Zabaleta was the first one. The thing I like about Pellegrini is he's afraid to drop nobody. I mean, if you do not perform, he will drop you. And he would have dropped more today had he have had the chance. Had the squad have been fitter, then there would have been more changes than just that today. I think he's rewarded the people that done all right. And which is obviously, we said in it with Declan Rice, we all thought didn't play badly. Obviously, Fabianski doesn't get dropped anyway. Cresswell came out of the game with some credit as well. We all thought Andy Carroll had done pretty well. The one that's missed out is Antonio, who we thought played well, but you can understand that. It's better to have a square peg in a square hole in that sense. Maybe he should have been playing up front. But Carroll, we all discussed that Carroll had done very well. So I quite like that. He's not Pellegrini's player. I'm adamant he's not going to be here next season because Pellegrini will want to do something else. But he's rewarded him. He said, you played well. You get in my team. I think the one surprise and the person that's got a lot to prove today is Marko Nautovic, who is going to have to do something today because he looked absolutely woeful. Listen, whether that's fitness or whatever, it doesn't actually matter what it was. If he was unfit, then he better be fit today. If it was poor form, then he better be on form today. Yeah,
I completely agree with Nautovic. I think this is harsh on Antonio, actually. Where he goes in that 11, I don't know, probably right midfield, actually. Snodgrass would be the one that sticks out for me. Not because I necessarily think he played well. I don't think he played well against Burnley. He was ominous in the first half, but he didn't look fit, and it came out after they got taken off at halftime as a precaution. So there was obviously something wrong with him. So I just think Antonio, actually, I feel sorry for him because he's the one player. We said since the Cardiff game at home, we joked about how he's been snodgrassed and he's had that effect. Since then, he's been fine. He's played well in every single game. Whenever he's been called upon, he's gone and played in different positions. You know, he's been filling in at right back and stuff, and he's been getting shifted about. Wherever he's played, he's put in a shift, and he's performed well as well. So I think it's a bit harsh for him to miss out tonight a little bit. But you can understand why. It's good to see Pellegrini making the changes. Zabaleta's back in, which is reassuring, and Obiang's coming for Noble, which is a big message to the squad. Now, if he's going to drop his captain, he will drop anybody, and that's the important thing. Andy Carroll, this is almost like last chance saloon for him a little bit. You know, we spoke about Perez. He's only getting, he's running out of chances, if you like. Well, Carroll's going to come up to this point at some point. He's got off with it so far because he's been coming off the bench. He gets away with it. Coming off the bench and not impacting the game, fine. You've only had half an hour. But now you're starting. Well, let's see something from you. Speaking of off the bench, this is who West Ham have on it. Dean Gana's on the bench with Perez, Adrian, Antonio, Noble, Masuaku, and the new signing, Samir Nasri. And what do you make of the Frenchman?
Well, let's get one thing straight. Expectations are very, very low for me. I mean, they couldn't be more rock bottom with Nasri. He's been serving a ban. He's a guy who's been banned from football. Nobody else wanted him, and he has been next to useless since he left Manchester City. So the expectations are very low. In many respects, why on earth are we signing this guy? And then I watched his interview yesterday. For those of you that haven't watched it, I suggest you go on to the West Ham United YouTube, the official West Ham United YouTube channel. And I thought it was a bit raw for them, actually, because it's obviously a bit of it's a propaganda channel, really. It's pink, it's fluffy, it shows you people nutmegging other people and the players having a laugh. And it's a feel-good channel. But it was a very, very raw interview with Samir Nasri, and I thought he came across absolutely brilliantly. To hear a footballer speak about the mistakes he's made, he didn't make excuses. He said it was his fault. He said he was too young. He spoke about him having too much money and spending too much money. He spoke about just wanting to play football. He spoke about his family living in London. He wanted to play at London. One thing he said as well, he said the smell of the dressing room. He's missed the smell of the dressing room. Did you hear that bit? And I thought that is... Well, firstly, a dressing room is a stinky old place, but I get what he meant. He missed the vibe, he missed the feel, he missed the banter with the fellas, he missed the old deep heat or whatever it is, just that feel of being involved, and he's missed it. And I just wonder if him missing it has given him that hunger. He certainly came across in the interview like he was hungry. And you know what? In the space of a 5-minute interview, Geo, from what I said at the start when I started speaking about I wasn't pleased, my expectations were very low, he turned me around. I totally understand why we've signed him.
I like this signing. You know, I loved watching Nasri at Man City and Arsenal. Now, while we're not going to get that Nasri, if we can get 180% is good. We've got a player on our hands here. We've got nothing to lose here. Okay, we're taking on a guy for free, and if he's crap at the end of the season, we say thank you very much. Off you pop, right? He on the other hand, has got everything to gain from this. He's got a 2-year deal in May waiting for him. If he plays well, he's got everything to lose, whereas we've got nothing to lose. It's a win-win situation for West Ham here. We either end up with someone who would probably cost £15 million on a free contract, or we have a little experiment and we have a body about the squad for 6 months, then we pack him off in May and stuff. We've got nothing to lose. As for his ban, I don't think it's as bad as people assume. They think 18 months, well, he didn't take an illegal substance, he just took too much of it. If you like, you're only allowed 50 millimeters in the space of 6 hours. He took 500 millimeters in the space of a couple of hours or whatever. So he didn't take a banned substance, he just misused it. So it wasn't the most horrific thing ever. Tony said he's no Pablo Escobar, and I couldn't put it better than that, actually. It's just, you know, he just bent the rules a little bit. We've missed a creative player, and the thing is, if we are getting beat today, you look at that bench, yeah, you've got Dian Guy and Perez, and actually you'd be looking at Nasri going, actually I wouldn't mind seeing him come on. He's probably someone that can unlock that defence. So I'm really happy with the signing. Anyway, let's take a quick look at Brighton's one, and we'll have a quick discussion about the game and give our final predictions. Obviously, Matt Ryan is away on Asian Cup international duty, so he's not in goal. It's the Baldy Button, and that's his name. He played well against Everton, but he's in goal. Right back, they've got Montoya with Duffy and Dunk in the middle and Bernardo left back. They've got 5 in midfield with Solly March on the right, Stevens and Proper sitting in front of defence with Locadia on the left, Pascal Gross sitting just behind Glenn Murray.
Yeah, well, you know, it's all about the 2 centre-backs and the centre-forward. It doesn't really matter what they... I mean, obviously, that Izzy always scored a couple of, you know, raspers against us, so we're pleased he's not involved for multiple reasons, of course, certainly for any children attending. Sorry. But, you know, it's... You know what they're going to do, mate? That's probably why he's brought Carroll on. Got Duncan, whatever his name is, Duffy up the back there. It's... yeah, I don't know. I wasn't impressed. I went down to Brighton. As I said, the best thing I say about Brighton was nice pies and lovely golden ale. They played... They're not going to play a style of football. I said after the Burnley game that, you know, Sean Dyche had given them a blueprint. If there's anybody that you didn't want to have that blueprint, it was going to be Brighton. They're going to be nasty. They're going to get stuck in. Are they going to be bothered by Andy Carroll? You know, those 2 centre-backs are used to all of that bit. But, you know, maybe we're sort of matching up in certain areas against them. It's going to be, you know, styles make fights, as they say in boxing, and this is certainly going to be a clash of 2 different styles. We almost did them in Brighton. I mean, he had a very, very good chance at the end, and Arnautovic right in front of us there. So it's hard to know what's going to happen, mate. As I say, the Burnley one's knocked my confidence a bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is where they're set up. It's quite a good setup, actually. Houghton's got here. It's expected. The only question mark for me was who was he going to play up front, because he's been resting Murray a lot this season and playing that other boy, what's his name, Andone or whatever, up front instead. So it was only which one is he going to go for. He's gone with the guy who scored the most goals against West Ham in his career than anyone else. It's Stevens and Popper in front of defence is a good shield for them, actually, because when they're defending, they've actually got 6 really good defensive players there. They've got 4 defenders and them 2 just sitting there. And if Anderson wants to cut inside, take a shot, I think he might struggle a bit tonight, because usually teams like even West Ham in this instance, we've only got one. We've only got Declan Rice in there to cover that back 4. Another midfielder sort of hovers in front of Rice. But Brighton have got 2, so they've almost got their own half of the pitch. You cover that guy, so if that winger cuts in, that's your space. You get that. And Stevens tends to be the one on the right centre midfield position, and he's the harder tackling one, the one that will not think about going through Felipe Anderson if he gets a chance. And if Anderson cuts in, I think he'll struggle to get a shot away tonight. That's what I will say. They do have enough in attack. Solly March has really impressed me the last few games. He looks like he's in form. Pascal Gross is the one that everyone thinks about, but March is the one that's impressed me whenever I've seen him. But Locadia scored in his last 2 games for Brighton. Did they fear you, Gonzo? Does that team fear you, or on paper should we really be putting this to bed?
We should do. I mean, I think they're poor. They're a poor team, as I say. I went down there. They're not very good at all. But Burnley weren't very good at all. I don't think there's many Burnley players getting to our team, but they played us off the park. So you just don't know if the manager's got them motivated, if they are less tired than we are. There's all sorts of things. But what I would say, what does go in our favour is, I don't know if it's the first time we played someone twice. I'm not sure, but
we played Burnley twice already. We beat them at home and lost away.
Of course, yeah, but he's had a chance to look into the whites of Chris Hughton's eyes, Pellegrini. He knows what's coming at him, so it won't be a surprise. I think it might have gone against him against Burnley. He probably watched Burnley in that first game and thought, oh, well, easy peasy. You know, we'll roll these guys, because they were useless when we played them at home, of course. He's going to be expecting a tough game. He's going to know their tactical plan, and he's going to have the players well drilled for it. And I doubt, even though it's Brighton, I don't think the players are going to be going out thinking it's only Brighton. I reckon they'll be motivated and up for it. Well, they better be up for it. After the Burnley display, they better be up for it and fighting for that shirt today. Yeah,
it's a good point about Carroll coming back in for this one, actually, because they are good at attacking set pieces, but for some reason, Brighton are horrific at defending set pieces. Doesn't really make sense. I don't know why, but they just are. So with Snodgrass's corners as well, we've been getting chances off his corners. The people just on the end of it haven't been good enough. Balbuena is usually the biggest one I thought. That's why having Ogbonna in might actually help us at some point going forward. And so we've got Ogbonna in the box with Diop and Rice as well, and Andy Carroll. That's 4 really good players in it. Well, Diop's not that good in there, but he's a big physical presence, and automatically the other team, when he comes up for a corner, automatically other team's centre defenders usually tend to go for their other centre backs. It'll cause Houghton a little bit of trouble. Does he pick up a centre back with one of his, or does he try and put him onto his centre midfield and get Carroll as the focus point? I've got a feeling we'll score from a header tonight, from a Snodgrass corner, actually. Brighton's bench, we'll just rattle through this. We won't discuss it. They've got that Basuma, Knockhart, Balogun, Borg, Steele, Andone, and then the Israeli, and the dirty Israeli, and he's quite good, but he's a dirty bugger, Kayal. So if he comes on, he's probably getting booked. He won't think about chopping someone down. The one thing I was saying in the previous, Tom, this is important for me tonight, is when Pellegrini arrived, he said he was going to install a big club mentality. That was his words. And if he has installed that big club mentality, we're going to see a bounce back tonight. We're going to see us win. It's going to be what I would call a professional job, probably, where we take the lead and we start knocking the ball about like we did in the first half against Palace, Cardiff it was. Pass. I expect to see that tonight. And that's the one thing I'm looking for. Not just a reaction, but like a big club mentality reaction, if that makes sense. In the preview, Gonzo, I predicted 2-1 West Ham. I'm going to stick with that. What's your final thoughts? And care to give me your score prediction, please?
I hadn't really given it any thought, to be honest. I think we're going to win. We've got to win. We're at home. We've had the shock. That'll be a rocket up the backside. That last game. I think we might win. I think we might win comfortably. I think we might win at least 2-0.
2-0. Well, if you're on Twitter and you want to get involved in a potential cash giveaway, head over to our Twitter. It's hammers_chat, and it's the pinned tweet on there. We've got 2 potential ones. The first one's for 50 quid. If West Ham win and Arnautovic scores, we get 5 corners and Stevens gets booked, we're going to give away 50 quid cash. The second one is if Declan Rice scores first and West Ham win 2-1, we're going to give away 100 quid cash. And if they both win, we're going to give someone else, a third prize, another 50 quid. So come along and join in for that. Myself and Gonzo and Charlie will be back straight after the game, full time on the other channel. So make sure you subscribe to them both. There's a little bell next to the thing that says subscribe. You click that, tells you when we go live so you don't miss any. But come over to that full time and join us. But Gonzo, I shall see you in a couple of hours, hopefully celebrating 3 points for West Ham. Enjoy the game.
Yeah, you too, mate. Fingers crossed.
Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here, and we'll see you at full time.